this is Isabella from Core Energy Healing Mabui. I hope you have a great day. Here in Okinawa, it's very sunny and very hot still. Hopefully the weather will change soon. Today I would like to talk about expectations and assumptions. Now I put those two together because they have some things in common, and of course both are energetically very depleting, and also both can ruin every single relationship we are in. Whether it's our husbands, wives, friends, family members, we can really destroy it with assumptions and expectations. And I will try to explain to you how we make assumptions and how actually we shouldn't. Let's start with assumptions. So, what is assumption? So, assumption is when we think about situation or a person and we consider what we think to be true, even though we have absolutely no proof of that. Yes, we don't know, but we think we know. Yes. So there are three factors that contribute to this creating those assumptions. The first one is that our assumptions are made based on our mental and emotional state. Okay, so for example, let's say you start dating and you meet this person and everything is awesome and seems great, no red flags, nothing. It's amazing, right? And suddenly this person disappears. Poof, gone, ghosting, classic ghosting. And if you in the past experience a lot of abandonment from the family members or from people you were dating, if you were always told negative thing about you that created some form of negative thoughts, and your self-confidence is very low, your reaction, your assumption in this situation will be that he left me because I'm not good enough, because I'm not pretty enough, not smart enough, that I'm hopeless and it's my fault, something is wrong with me. Yes, this is our assumption when we have issues with self-confidence, and we experienced that before, so for us it's obvious. Yes, well, what else could that be? Now, if you come from the place where your life was just awesome, great support system, lots of friends, nobody ever did anything bad to you, everybody was telling you how great you are, lots of love in there. If this situation, this scenario happens, your reaction, your assumption will be that something must have happened, like, okay, this person is in the coma, or they were attacked by a crocodile, and maybe they are sick, maybe their phone died, maybe they can't contact you because of some outside circumstances, because you can't even comprehend that this person could have done something like dumping you in such an unpleasant way, like with ghosting. Yeah, so as you can see, it really depends where you are emotionally and mentally, how you create assumptions. Yes, we need to be careful with that, because on the happy day your assumption will be different than on the sad day. Now the thing here is that the truth of the whole situation is this person is gone. It's not here. Yes, that's the only thing that you can say. What this person think, what happened, this is not true, because you simply don't know. Yeah, so we have to be very careful. We always, I mean, I did it too, you know, before that, you know, if something happened, it was like, oh, I know what happened. I'm sure he did this or she did this because of that and that, you know. So we all do it. But ask yourself, like, when you start making assumptions, truly ask yourself, like, do I really know what happened? And I'm sure the answer will be no, so you can drop it. A small digression here. If you ever experience a situation like this, when somebody goes to or disappears from your life, deselects themselves out of the blue, it might hurt because, you know, we don't know why, but actually this is something very, very good, because this person, by removing themselves from your space, they saved you a lot of time, a lot of energy, and create space for something new or somebody new to come into your life. So instead of getting angry or sad or frustrated, just say thank you for doing this, because, you know, probably you would be stuck in the situation and ignore all the red flags, and 2 years later or something it will be like, oops. So always look on the bright side of life, as I do, and find the positive aspect of a person ghosting you. It's really good. Okay, so let's move to factor number 2, which is that we only know a very, very small part of what we can see. Yeah, so if there is a certain situation, we only see a very, very tiny little part of it. And based on it, we create assumption. So it's also usually not true. I would like to give you an example to better understand the situation. So I don't know, I was age about 17 or something like that. I was heartbroken. Well, we all were at this age, I guess. But I didn't want people to know, because, you know, I don't like showing weakness, I guess. So I wanted to hide it. And we were going to a party, and I decided, okay, I keep it a secret. I put the mask on, and I did such a great job that one of the friends came over and he said, you look like you are the happiest person in the world. Yes, well, it wasn't the case, but, you know, I always wanted to be an actress, so I did good. But that's the case. We don't know, because people will not always show us the truth. And, you know, we only see part of the situation. It's like, you know, looking at the mountain. You see one side of the mountain, but you don't see the other side of the mountain that can be completely, completely different. And, you know, your side of the mountain is kind of smooth and there are trees, and you would say, oh, this mountain is easy, you can climb it, no problem. But the other side of the mountains is full of rocks and, you know, steep kind of stuff going on, and very slippery and stuff. And we don't know this side because we don't see that from where we are standing. Now, the third factor is that every time we make assumption, we make assumption from who we are. Yes, how we were brought up, what experience we went through, what kind of people we met, what books we read. Based on it, we will assume what other or why other people did things or didn't do things. Like this, yes. Let's say if you come from the family where men, let's say, were always involved in how to say, helping at work, at home, like helping with kids, cleaning and washing and shopping and all this kind of things. This became your belief, your truth. And when you start dating, please remember, dating is not showing the real you very often. We don't want to show our flaws in the dating time, right? But say that you start dating and in your head you assume that this person will do the same, and then you, let's say, start living together and there's like big surprise because they don't, which makes you crazy because you assume they will, and unfortunately they don't, because maybe they come from the place where helping at home is considered weakness, and they just don't do it, or they were just simply not they never experience it in their own house, so they don't know what it is. So as you can see, assumptions are really not the truth about the situation or about the person. And I would like to tell you a short story about assumption. It's kind of funny in a way. So I used to study Chinese in Poland, and I got a scholarship 27 years ago, around. And so I went to a city called Xiamen in south part of China. And I got a scholarship from Chinese government, but I also got a scholarship from Polish government. But 27 years ago, we didn't have PayPal or anything like that. I didn't even have a bank account. So there was kind of no way to get the scholarship for me other than getting on the train, and unfortunately it would take me 3 days on the train to get to the nearest consulate, which was, I think, in Shanghai. So I was thinking, okay, let it accumulate. I will use it whenever I will be ready to go or have time or money to go. I will do that. Now, I had a friend. He was a monk from Shaolin Temple, amazing. And so I asked him. He said he was going to Shanghai, so to Beijing. So I asked him, could you go into my embassy and pick up the money for me? I called the embassy and they said, yeah, sure, no problem. Just give him like a letter that it's from you, so we know it's him. He did. He came back, bring me money. All great. Until I went back to Poland and I went to my college, the university. Everybody looked at me like I'm crazy, like I'm a ghost. So I asked what's going on, and they said that they got a message from the consulate or embassy that I gave all my money to a monk and I converted to Buddhism, ran away to Tibet, and just simply became a monk. Well, I'm not a monk type, so but just you can see how assumptions can work. Just because he went to the embassy to get my money, that was the assumption they made out of it. Now when it comes to expectations, right? So expectations also, expectations is when we want somebody to do something our way, or we want to get something. Yes, we want to get a promotion, we expect to get a promotion, or we expect somebody to do something the way we want it, right? First of all, why should they? They shouldn't. I mean, they don't have to do anything, right? But anyway, so expectations are also based on who we are on the soul level, yes? And again, another example from my life. My lovely mother, she had a little bit OCD problem, I would say. We had a small apartment that she cleaned every day for like an hour or so, or two. And she had to work a lot. And she went to work and she asked me, told me to clean the house. At that time, I was about, I don't know, 6, 7 maybe. So, oh my God, I spent like 2 hours to clean the house, swiping, mopping, everything, right? I did my best. So my mom comes back and I'm so excited. Oh my God, oh, I did so well. I was like, oh, she will be so proud of me because I did such a great job. And my mom looks at, around the house, the apartment, and she says like, I asked you to clean up. And I said, I did. And she's like, no, you didn't. And of course, I was crushed. My mom was angry because the place was not clean according to her expectations. The thing was, I would never be able to reach those expectations even. I mean, let's face it, I was 6 years old, so our way of seeing things is completely different. But the fact is that what she considered clean and what I consider clean right now are completely different stories. And there is nothing wrong with how we see clean apartment. It's just that we are different. And whenever you expect somebody to do something the way you do it, you will always get disappointed. Because nobody can do things the way you do. It's impossible. It's simply impossible. So expectations always kind of end up with disappointment. And we have to understand, like in this case with my mom, it was age I was much younger than she was, but it can come with people who are just simply different. They have different level of understanding to certain things, and the most important thing, there's nothing wrong with them. Yes, just because you would do something a certain way doesn't mean that other people do it the same way. Yes, we're different, which is great. Otherwise it would be so boring if we were all the same. But the most important thing is that we have to allow people to be themselves. We can not expect them to do things the way we do. It just doesn't work like that, and you just simply, will lose a lot of energy by being disappointed. When it comes to like expecting promotion and something like that, I would like you sometimes to understand. I mean, as I said, always look on the bright side of life. Monty Python here. We have to understand that sometimes what we want is not really good for us. Sometimes it's more of our ego wanting something, and we stick to this idea that this is, what we want, but actually it's what our ego wants. Yeah, so like, let's say you don't get a promotion, and you get, of course, disappointed because you worked for this promotion, but sometimes it's good to ask yourself, I mean, is this good for me? Is this job good for me? So, another example. I love examples. So, I think 2 years ago, I went to buy land. No, more. About 4 years ago. I found this gorgeous piece of land with a nice view down here in Nanja City. And it was expensive, but, it was beautiful. So I did everything possible. I got all the paperwork. I went to the city office, all this stuff. The only thing that I didn't do was, it wasn't because of my job. My ex-husband had to replace me on the mortgage and he couldn't find anyone. So the timing was not right, and at the end they sold the land to somebody else. Yes, in the beginning I was a little bit disappointed, but the thing is that this was the best thing that could happen to me not buying the land, because if I did, I would have to stay in my other job because I would have to pay the mortgage. I would have to, I would never be able to do what I do now, the job that I love so much and enjoy so much. And I would be stuck in teaching at school. I mean, it was okay, but, at the end, not really. And this would be such a burden for me. My ego wanted this land so much because, having a house with a view and stuff, but it was just not meant for me. So sometimes when you make goals, when you stuck to it, it's great to make goal, but always ask yourself before you make the goal, is it really good for you? And if you do all the steps, everything, that is, it's not like you'll sit on the couch and wait for things to happen to you. It doesn't work like that. But if you take all steps that are necessary to get what you want and you don't get what you want, I would say that means that it's actually very, very good for you that you didn't. Because there is something else better for you than this. You just now are angry and frustrated, so you can't see that, but you will. And as you notice that both assumption and expectation, they create so much anger or so much disappointment and, are so energetically depleting. And I hope that you can learn how to live your life without expectations, without assumptions. Yes, if something happens, okay, that's what is true, and let's leave it. We don't know what's going to happen, what happened, or what's the situation. And if with expectation, if something happens, awesome. If something doesn't happen, awesome. Both options are perfectly okay. It takes practice, yes, and it takes time to do it, to learn how to do it, but benefits are absolutely amazing. So I hope that you will start your new day today by not making assumptions and not having expectations. I hope you a lovely day, and thank you so much for listening, and I hope to talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.